So guys, another profile which comes into picture is SSL. Okay, this most of the people knows about this. So here we will discuss about three components. First, about client SSL, about server SSL profile, and in interview there will be three questions which they will discuss: SSL offloading, SSL bridging, and SSL pass through. Here we will also discuss about certificate. Let's say if I want to deploy any website, what are the things required? Key. Then we will talk about how to create these profiles and map this certificate, and from where these certificates comes into picture. When I talk about SSL guys, this is where, what is the full form of this first? This is called secure socket layer. It helps your connection to become encrypted. Simple, if I talk about SSL, it helps to make your session encrypted so that man in middle cannot see what is happening between you and F5 or between F5 to the server. So that is how SSL came into picture. And this concept came into picture is when you want to deploy your website over HTTPS. Nowadays, everyone wants to deploy application over HTTPS. So HTTPS is HTTP plus S. When S comes into picture, it means your website is encrypted. Every customer nowadays wants your application to be on HTTPS because that is encrypted. Otherwise, it is plain text. Your customer trust is not there. Your website can get hacked easily. That is where SSL comes into picture. We will also talk about SSL Handshake. But can anyone tell me what is the latest protocol which has been used nowadays? TLS 1.2 and 1.3. And what was the oldest SSL version? SSL 3.0. So TLS and SSL are widely used protocol for securing your transactions. Can we also protect FTP application? Can we also protect LDAP application? Yes. There also there is a protocol called FTPS, LDAP, LDAP-S. So all these are SSL values. Now SSL is not been used. There is a concept called TLS. See, SSL is used, but the protocol wise, now the latest protocol which has come is TLS. That is most widely used protocol. So when I talk about SSL guys, see, let's say if this is a HTTP website. So what will happen? Let's say you go here, you buy and fill your credit card number. And someone is sitting, like anyone of you is sitting on internet and tracking what is the information. So you will get everything like credit card information, because by default HTTP is plain text. Okay guys, so in this case what will happen is, to make it more secure, and you need to make sure that your transactions are always encrypted. So in this case, you will make sure that your virtual server should be SSL port. and you have client SSL profile edit. That we will discuss slowly. Everything will be discussed in this coming section. Nowadays, major concern for every customer is security and privacy. That is why now you will see very less website. Even if you first access your website over HTTP, you will never access. Even you are a fresher, even you want your parents to access your website, you will always say, hey, my dad, you don't never access this website on HTTP. Always see whether it is HTTPS or not. Because whenever S comes into picture, it means encrypted. So even SSL are sometimes malicious. Sometimes people make use of that. So that is why they have added TLS protocol to make it more secure. So that is why nowadays they want end-to-end encryption. Maybe first case your session can get hijacked, but after that when it goes to the server, in that case again you want that traffic to be encrypted. So end-to-end encryption that is required. So previously guys, server was not capable to handle SSL traffic. Performance issues came into picture. So that's why they wanted a man-in-middle device which can have separate SSL engine so that it can offload all the traffic from the server. So whenever you enable SSL encryption and decryption on server, your performance of server will be down. So instead of doing encryption and decryption on server, every customer wants a middle device which can do encryption and decryption so that performance issues does not get can come. Because I told you, right, my application should be 24 into 7 accessible, plus performance of user should be good. Otherwise, when you add SSL, server issues will be down. Server can be down because there are no special engine on SSL. So F5 has a special SSL acceleration card. So in that case, what will happen when you want your website to be SSL? What is first requirement, guys? Anyone? Let's say I want sianets.com to run on SSL on HTTPS. What is the requirement? Anyone, guys, on the chat? Let's make it interactive because SSL is a major term which we are using everywhere. When I want to deploy my website on internet and I want to use HTTPS, what is the requirement? So let's see on the chat. Certificate, excellent. Answer is SSL certificate. And who gives this SSL certificate, guys? Anyone? Who gives this SSL certificate? What are they called? There is a name which is called by their vendor name. What are that called? Certificate authorities. Excellent. Simple definition of SSL certificate. What does SSL certificate do? And when I talk about SSL, SSL comes under your cryptography concept. There is a concept called public key and private key. So first, let's talk about SSL certificate. Can anyone tell me what is the definition of SSL certificate? What is SSL certificate? Might have been using this in every website, but why someone wants to use SSL certificate. So guys, SSL certificate is just a document, digital certificate like your Aadhaar card that will authenticate your website identity. So for your identity, what is you use when you want to show your identity to anyone? What do you use? Aadhaar card, PAN card. But when someone wants to say that, hey, my website is authentic, someone wants to access sianets.com, what it will see first? Whether it is HTTPS, even it's HTTPS. Second thing I want to see that whether certificate is expired or not. Guys, very important things I am discussing. Please don't miss it. This question, SSL handshake, everyone knows, but the basic questions people forget. If someone asks the definition of certificate, people don't answer. So even certificate is there. You need to check whether certificate is expired or not. After that, you need to check the authenticity, whether certificate is given by certificate authority or not. How you can check that? Let's go. I'll go to private window. I'll access sianets.com. Anyone can tell me, are you sure that this is the original website or it can be a phishing web page? How you can differentiate? Even you can see padlock. Does it means it is secure? Anyone? You can see the padlock here, but does it mean that it is secure? So what you will check here, guys? You will go here, connection is secure. You need to check certificate. Can you see? You need to see this. This is certificate authority. And can you see this? When this certificate will get expired? If certificate is expired, then I will not access my web page. Can you see certificate and public key? So first, SSL certificate is a certificate that authenticates your website identity and it enables your encrypted connection. So companies and organization uses certificate. They need to add certificate to your website so that your transactions are secure. And you need to make sure that customer information is private. So can anyone tell me when you access an website, so certificate you can call it as a digital identity, which will help as a normal customer to identify that who is your organization, what is the common name you have been used. It will determine your identity. So it makes a trust. So when you, let's say, I'll show you one thing. So when you launch your website, okay, you request a certificate from certificate authority. You request a certificate from certificate authority. So how you can go? You go here, go to google.com. So there are different certificate authorities. So certificate authorities are just like an organization which will check your identity, then only will give you a certificate. You need to pay a money, guys. That is why you trust them. See, when you go to Aadhaar card, right, center, they will first check your, they will ask for your name, your father name, your mother name, then they will ask your any identity proof. The same way certificate authorities, before issuing you a certificate to your organization, they will ask you what is the domain name. So when I go here, certificate authority. So there are different certificate, global sign, DigiCert. So let me open. I will say I want to buy SSL certificate. SSL certificate buy for domain. Simple. I'll go to GoDaddy. So can someone tell me what is domain name? Whenever you want request a certificate for your organization, first thing is your CA will see. CA is certificate authority which will issue your certificate. So before issuing a certificate, you need to provide some details to CA. First thing is domain name. So I will write I need a certificate for sianets.com. Second thing they will ask organization name or a person name. I will tell them sianets. Third thing, do you need any subdomains also? Like, do you have any other domains? How many domains you need to buy? Domain is nothing but your website. For how many years you want to buy? Let's say I want to buy for 3 years. So all this information they will ask you. So how you can see here, guys, I'll show you from F5 also. F5 also. So there is a concept called CSR, which you need to submit. So what is the requirement? Let's say I'm with it. I want to buy a certificate for cnets.com. So I will submit a CSR, that is a certificate signing request. And that I will send to certificate authority. Certificate authority will check all this and then it will give me a certificate. Then I will map this certificate to my domain. That is how, guys, a certificate process comes into picture. So three concepts: CSR, CA, and yourself. See why I am covering from basic, because questions will be asked. So how I can submit a CSR from F5? See, most of the time when you deploy any application on F5, you need to ask certificate and key from your customer, because they will charge, they will not give you, right? Customer has an authority of their organization. You don't know. So whenever you deploy any application on HTTPS, you need to first request certificate and key so that they can give you. But how we can generate it, I'll show you. You just go to system, go to file management, SSL certificate list. You need to go to create. I'm telling you how to create CSR from here. Mostly your certificate and key you will get from server team or your customer, that you need to import it. But from here, how you can do it, you just need to go to create. Here, can you see this? There are two types of certificate: self-signed certificate and certificate authority. Guys, anyone can tell me what is self-signed certificate on the chat? And is it trusted? Can I use it on my normal website? Or I need a certificate from certificate authority? From now onwards, whenever you access any website, you need to always check this, whether it's a self-signed certificate or whether it is issued by certificate authority, guys. So self-signed certificates are not trusted, guys, and this is not a publicly trusted certificate. It is not issued by certificate authority. It is just issued by your company or who is responsible. So you don't need to pay money. You just want to use a normal certificate that is not trusted, then you can use this. But I always prefer to use certificate authority. Can you see this? I'll say sianets.com. Can you see this common name? What is common name? Common name is nothing but the domain name for which a certificate is required. Division, IT, organization, IT. You are from which state? Let's say United States, India. Your email ID on which your certificate is required. Any SAN certificate. SAN means any other URL which will be using the same certificate. And then password. So locality, you can give Delhi, state Delhi, country India. Then finish. This is how customer also gives the CSR. So I'm creating a certificate signing request. Then I will download this document and I will share with certificate authority. So can you see this? I got one .csr. This .csr I need to submit to CA or I can give to customer so that they can submit to CA. CA will check my information whether I am legal or not. After that, CA will issue me a certificate and key. And these are some of the certificate authorities. So all this is part of a PKI, public key integra, public key information. So let's say I go to SSL TLS. I need to show up a certificate. So it will ask me whether you only want domain certificates or organization or any other. So I was just opening that, just 1 minute. I'll tell you one thing more here. Can someone tell me what is the difference between domain? There are three types of certificate. One is domain, one is SAN, and one is wildcard. Anyone can tell me what is the difference between all this? What is domain certificate? What is SAN certificate and what is wildcard? So let's say I go here. So you will see here, guys, all very, very important interview question. They will ask you, what is domain certificate? What is SAN certificate? And what is wildcard? So when only you want to protect only one website, let's say siteprotection.com. So in this case, this is the cost you need to pay. If you want to use for 3 years, this will be the cost. Like my certificate should get expire after 3 years. Then this is the cost. When you want to use SAN certificate, when you want multiple domain to be protected from single certificate, all are interlinked. This is my parent-child URLs. Now, what is wildcard, guys? Wildcard is like star site.com. Star can be ABC. Can you see this? This URL is same, only subdomain is different. This is your main domain, and these are your wildcard subdomains. So that is the difference between domain certificate, SAN certificate, and wildcard. Wildcard, can you see? It can be sianets.com, abc.sianets.com. Parent domain is same. sianets.com is same. Only difference is front end. Like site protection.com is main URL, parent. After that, this is child URLs. Only difference is this is same. Site protection, site protection. Only thing is this is having difference. So this question is a favorite question for me. I ask in every interview, what is the difference between SAN certificate, wildcard certificate, and domain level certificate? Okay, this is how you can buy your certificate. And then we will see how to apply on F5 later on. So we have discussed that SSL stands for secure socket layer. It makes sure that when you're sending any information, it is secure over internet. So it helps to create an encrypted connection. Simple as that. So the same thing which I discussed. First thing, when you want to secure your website, first thing you always need a SSL certificate. That is the first requirement. So that it verifies your owner or authenticity of your website. And who issues this certificate? A CA, that is called a certificate authority. So that are third parties that will issue your certificate. And what does it contains? SSL certificate contains CA information, expiry date, and public key. To whom it has been issued, who issued it, and public key. Guys, what is the difference between public key and private key? Anyone? Why I require a public key and private key? Anyone quickly on the chat? Very, very important term. Why we use two keys? Public key, we have seen the certificate, but why we use public key and private key? And one more thing, what is the difference between symmetric algo and asymmetric algo? Let's discuss a little bit on this. Symmetric and asymmetric. One question for you all. Maybe you can tell me, this is an interview question, very important. SSL is symmetric protocol or asymmetric? SSL is symmetric or asymmetric? So public key and private key uses, I will tell you a real use case. Let's say you are in a bank, and you have a locker where you keep XYZ things to safeguard from other users. So in this case, there are two keys being used, public key and private key. So as a person, you will have your private key and bank has your public key. So when you go to bank to open a locker, guys, what they will do, the bank person will come on the locker, he will insert this key and you will insert your this key. Then only your local will get open. Yes or no? So public key is used to encrypt your data, private key is used to decrypt your data. But you need both keys to open your locker. Public key is open to everyone. Private key is only kept with you. It's not shared with anyone. So that is the use case of public key and private key, guys. So SSL always works with two keys. So public key is known to outside world and private key is only secret. But SSL uses one public key and one private key to authenticate and secure your connection, guys. Simple as that. Now, question was, does SSL uses symmetric or asymmetric? So symmetric algo means it will use both same key to encrypt and decrypt. When I talk about asymmetric, it uses two keys. So SSL and TLS both, 1 minute. When I talk about SSL TLS, SSL TLS uses both encryption algos, symmetric encryption and asymmetric. Very, very important, guys. In which case it uses symmetric encryption. So symmetric encryption is, sorry, asymmetric encryption is basically used to establish a secure session between client and F5. And symmetric is used to exchange data. Like we have phase 1 and phase 2 in VPN, the same thing here. Asymmetric encryption is generally to build a secure session between client and server, while symmetric is to exchange data with that secure session. First, always there will be a secure session which will be built between client and F5. Then data will get exchanged. Using secure session. Very important, guys. I'll talk about that SSL handshake. You will come, but this is question which will be asked in an interview, guys. See how SSL protocol works. There is a box, public and private key. So box will be locked by public key and can only unlocked by private key. So how SSL handshake comes into picture, a small pictorial representation, then we will discuss in detail. So client will visit, let's say this website. Okay, this website client visit, let's say sianets.com. Then server, which is an F5, will respond with SSL certificate with public key. So when CA generate a file that will have SSL certificate and public key. Now the browser will send a session key in the third packet and it will be getting logged with this public key. And another party can only unlock this. F5 can only decrypt a packet which is encrypted by client by using private key. So that is the use case of public key and private key. After that, client and server, now you can use a shared key to encrypt and decrypt actual data. So they will agree on the shared key and further data transfer happen. So that is called symmetric encryption. So we will discuss this F5. Before that, guys, I want to discuss about SSL handshake. So this is the picture which I will explain you. Then we will end this session. Tomorrow we will do the lab on certificate. So SSL handshake I wanted to discuss today. So let's go. So can anyone tell me like how SSL works through anyone through this picture? Maybe we can make it what I can say a live session. I will unmute you all so that you can tell us. So what I will do, I will unmute you all so that we can check on that 1 minute because I want it to be little interactive, guys. So guys, first of all, can anyone tell me when I talk about SSL handshake, how many packets will be getting transferred? Any packet names if you remember when I talk about HTTPS connection or I will say SSL handshake. What is the first packet?
TCP handshake will happen first.
Okay, that is done. After that,
Client hello.
great.
In the client hello, you can get to see the random number and
Now in client hello, let's go one by one. In client hello, what will happen?
in the client hello, it will tell the which version it will support SSL, SSL or TLS version, encryption key,
So
and
like
the random
so it
number.
so it will send the TLS version number which it supports, plus it will send cipher suits. So can
Yeah.
anyone tell me what is cipher suits? So there is a concept called cipher suits. You have worked on firewall, someone can anyone tell me what is cipher suits?
Cryptographic algorithms.
Great. What it tells, like why I need a cipher suits. Like if someone asks you what is cipher suits, definition, simple. You have corrected that it's a combination of encryption and authentication algo. But why it is required? Anyone? Come on, guys, let's make it interactive because it will really help you to correct in interview. Why I require a cipher suits?
For encryption,
Okay, but why? Like, uh, can I say that it is one of the algo which makes sure that your keys are secure and your packet information is encrypted. It's just an algo for both encryption and authentication. By definition, I can say this like this is one of the instruction which is providing to SSL. Can I say that? Cipher suits are set of instruction on how to secure a packet or how to secure a
yes.
data. So that I will show you how cipher suit is, but you can say that cipher suit is a mixture of key exchange and authentication. So can someone tell me what are authentication algos which SSL supports? Anyone?
AES,
Authentication.
3DS,
Okay. Nowadays, what is more secure?
SHA.
SHA is also there, but nowadays most of the time they are using ECDHE like this.
Oh.
So you will see it's a mixture of DSA, RSA, all this. So, and what is key exchange algo? What are the example of key exchange algo? Anyone?
Daffy Hellman, RSA.
Okay, so key exchange is basically your, like, basically when you see any cipher suit, okay, cipher suit, when you see this, it will be like this: ECDSG dash, it will say AES 128 SHA 256. So like it. So that is a mixture of authentication and key exchange. Now guys, this is your client hello. Now in server hello, what it will do? So client said that I want to connect to this server, and it will say that I support this cipher suits and SSL version. Now in server hello, what it will do? Anyone quickly?
It will select the the TLS version which it will support, and the
Okay.
encryption algorithm also it will select, and it will check the any previous session is established. It will check the session ID as well. If it is empty, means it consider as it's a fresh connection.
Excellent. So server will see the list of SSL version, cipher suit, and it will pick from the client list which it supports. Let's
Yeah.
say if your TLS version is different, what will happen? When I say TLS version, here is TLS 1.2, but here it only support TLS 1.0. What will happen? Will my SSL handshake success or fail?
Fail.
So that is a troubleshooting step. First troubleshooting step. When an SSL handshake failure happens, first thing, always check whether protocol is matching and cipher suits are matching. That is the first thing. So after that, what will happen, anyone? So you have correctly explained, like client hello, everything. Client will send, server hello, server will respond with cert. Now there is a
Sir,
third packet which comes into picture. What is that? That is called server
Server
key
certificate.
exchange. No, actually the packet name. So see,
Okay.
everything is same. You can tell it in server hello. Server will choose the list of SSL version and cipher suits, and it will pick the server. Server will pick whatever it suppose. After that, there will be a packet where it will have a certificate and public key. So when I talk about certificates and public key, so we have already discussed, I will show through Wireshark how you can see that. So server will respond with its certificate and public key. And that certificate, it's web browser choice, whether it can validate or not. See, as a customer, I should validate, right? Whatever certificate I get it. See, can you see this? Browser will verify the certificate, whether it is trusted or not. Now, the fourth packet, server has sent a certificate and public key. What is the fourth packet it will do? So whenever guys, one important thing, whenever you send a certificate, there will be a public key associated with that. So what is the use case of public key? Anyone? Why public key is included with certificate?
mm,
Anyone, guys?
encrypt the data at the client end.
Excellent. So that client and server can use this public key to encrypt the messages, you can say. Correct or wrong? And how it can decrypt? It can decrypt using server private key.
Okay.
And this private key is never shared with anyone. After that, third packet, what is the fourth packet, guys? So we have done with client hello. We have done with this. After that, browser will use this public key and they will create one session key. Some people say it's a master key. Some people say it's a session key. So it's a random session key which it will generate using server public key. After that, how this session key will get encrypted, anyone on the client side? Let's say client generate a session key or a pre-master key. Now I want to encrypt this before sending to the server. Through which key I can encrypt this?
Public key.
Public key of the server. He already
So
have the public key.
Correct. Great. So then it will encrypt it and send it to the server. Now this encrypted session key, which server received it, how it can decrypt it. When server
By
receive,
using the private key.
Private key.
great. So who will know this key? Session key is only known by client and server. So this way they can trust each other. Once they trust, so session key is valid for how many session? Anyone? When I talk about session key or a pre-master key, it is valid per session or it is valid for all session. Say when I visit any website, after that I close the browser, will it again generate a session key? Maybe next day I visit the same server.
Yeah,
Yes.
it will again generate the session key.
Why I cannot use the same session key?
Because the session is expired, it is closed, right?
And there is a concern here. Same session key cannot be used twice because there can be a chance of session hijacking. Someone can hijack that. So every time when you generate, you close, let's say your browser, or let's say user does not visit that website and they want to visit the same server second day. So every time session key is built. So that is by session ID number. There is always a ID number that will define. So once we take a capture tomorrow in virtual server, I will show you how you can see all this. So guys, after this happens, they agree, they keep sharing this shared secret key. Now next task is throughout the life of a session, they will use this same shared secret key. So the client and server will send each other an encrypted message saying that this shared secret key is correct. Now from next time whenever you send or I send, you reply, let's use this key to encrypt and decrypt. So this is the last packet. So they will start sending message each other using shared secret key. So these are the 6 packets where it uses it. First client hello, second server hello, third server key exchange, fourth client key exchange, where it will client will send your informations, it will generate a session key, it will encrypt it. After that there will be a shared key which will be shared. And the 6th packet is that hey, we have agreed on this, let's encrypt all the messages. Let's send each message which we send. I send you hello, you send me hello. That should be encrypted using this shared secret key. So you can take this diagram, guys, if you want. It will really help. So you can see this. And further, uh, tomorrow I'll be creating a virtual server. I'll be telling you how to import a certificate. So there are 3 options which we need to do tomorrow. First, we will import a certificate which we get from CA with public key. Then we will create a profile that is client SSL and server SSL. Then we will call this profile on virtual server. So these are the 3 things we'll be talking about tomorrow.